What's going on, everyone? Welcome to another Traklife exclusive interview. My name is Dom, and I am sitting here with Traklife Artist Select for the month of June. Figgy Baby, what's going on? How do you feel?
Yo, what's up, Dom? Track Life in the house. Yes, I feel good. Thank you for having me. I'm excited.
Of course, of course. So, congratulations on being named Traklife's Artist Select. Let me get your initial thoughts and reactions on the whole thing.
Yo, I'm grateful. To be honest, the last year and a half has been super difficult being an artist and a creative and trying to get out there. And to know that folks who I had not previously met in person are checking out my work and feel like it resonates with them enough to highlight me for a whole month, then I'm like, hell yeah. It's putting me back into a mood where I feel like I can create again and really be, thriving as an artist. So I'm all about it. Thank you.
That's awesome, man. No, and thank you for accepting. We're super glad to have you. And I guess this is like a formal welcome to the Traklife family. I know you
Right.
have live sessions coming out soon, so you're working with us on a couple different projects, and
That's
we're glad
right.
to have you.
Yeah, absolutely. No, hey, I'm happy to be part of the family. Y'all do dope work. I love the Track Life live sessions, especially mine. It's gonna be dropping
Yep.
soon. It's gonna be sick. And yeah, and all the artists that y'all put on are all people who I resonate with as well, and who are also in my community. There's some other Track Life artists that y'all have put on who are homies of mine. So I love it.
Yeah, of course, of course. Shout out Silva and Gold and D-Struck.
Shout out,
They were in
shout
studio
out.
with you when you did the live sessions, and
Absolutely, a wonderful surprise.
yeah. And we were honestly surprised to see that y'all knew each other and everything like that. But that's always tight when you got like that little tight knit community. So that's what we're focused on building here.
Right, the LA independent art scene, thriving
Yeah, that's exactly it.
despite.
So just to dive right into it and get a little background on you as an artist, how'd you get the name Figgy Baby? Is it like childhood nickname? Is it what's the story behind that?
All right, so don't tell nobody, but my legal name, my legal name on the passport, birth certificate is Andrew Figueroa. Figueroa, like the main street here in Los Angeles. And when I was really young, people thought it was funny because Fig of Figueroa rhymed with pig. And so I was in kindergarten. They started calling me Fig the Pig. And then the pig lost its appeal, though I do really love pigs to this day. But the pigs lost its appeal. And really what I feel like my name is Fig, and what I go by amongst, close friends, inner circle, and people I meet, and lovers and all that. And then when I started really rapping, I was like, all right, I want to keep Fig. And so it evolved into Flowing in Gravity. You always got to start with, hey, 101 artist, if you didn't start with a corny ass rap name, are you even doing it right? Are you even doing it right? So I have Flowing in Gravity, Fig, and then I was like, yo, cut all this, like, whatever. So then I went back to Fig as the artist name. But another nickname that had kind of come my way was Figgy and Figgy Baby, and so I had that as my handle. But then since your handle is what everyone knows you by, everyone would just keep on calling me Figgy Baby. And I'm like, you know what? That's such a better ring to it. And it's cute and charming. And also that you could just call me Figgy, but everyone, and hey, the baby, that is always in on point in rap. The baby, Lil Baby, Wheezy F Baby, Figgy Baby, throw it to the list, right? So then I just went with Figgy Baby, and it's, people love that name. People love saying it. I love hearing it, so Figgy Baby.
That's sick, man. I love that. I love that. So you had, what was it, Flowing in Gravity?
Flowing in Gravity was the first official rap name.
Little acronym there. Okay.
Yep.
Have
So
other ones, or it was just Flowing in Gravity, then Fig, then Figgy Baby?
yeah, I was just I just Flowing in Gravity, the Figgy Baby. I have other nicknames: Notorious, Fig, Figgles, Figlet. People say that's also what my children will be. They'll be figlets. Um, Figless, figs. Some people just add the S for some reason, just like they call it figs. Even my mama calls me Figgy. So, Figgy Baby,
Yeah.
your baby boy. That's a little tag.
I like that though. You kept the branding pretty consistent around like your last name. That keeps it pretty like close to home in terms of
No,
like,
definitely. I feel like I didn't want the personas to be too distant, and also if people, usually shorten it, that I don't want just to call me Figgy. I like that as well. I respond to that, and I feel like it's still something that like is my name, that I heard previously just from homies. And like I said, my own mama. So when I hear Figgy, it's like, oh yeah, that's me, Got to keep it close to home.
And I feel like that's really good because like, I mean, there's some artists out there who will like put a mask on in terms of like who they are as an artist and
Absolutely.
are as a person. But like the vibe I'm kind of getting from you is that like there isn't a major difference, like you're pretty consistent who you are like when you're performing or when you're in like artist mode versus when you're just like casual.
Yeah, I feel like as a creator, what I want to pull from is my own experiences, and not to say that I don't hyperbolize certain situations or build characters or write about situations that I was not a part of. But I think in terms of like the persona and who I am and how I act, like I'm an exciting, unique individual, and so I don't have to put that much effort into be like, oh, now this like eccentric, outgoing persona is just gonna be kind of like highlighted on, as my rap persona, and people like me and people like rapper me. So, and I also don't. I feel like if hip hop has taught me anything, is fronting is bad. Don't front. Don't be a fronter. And so I want to keep everything in my world in terms of what I write about, type of relationships I have, and also that like what I say is real. Like I'm about that life, for the good and the bad. And to take responsibility in my writing is then taking responsibility in real life as well, because I hold true through and through. So it's important to me definitely that they're not so distant and people like, oh dang, like, oh, this is who you really are. Usually most people who meet me are like, oh yeah, no, I see it. Like you're kind of fun and joyous on stage, and similarly, in real life as well.
Yeah, respect, man. Lot to unpack there, but you did mention your writing. I know that your storytelling on some of the tracks is insane. The way you can just kind of take the listener on a journey over a couple weeks, months, even years of your life in a matter of
Hey.
3 minutes. So if you could like talk a little bit about like how you got into making music and what particularly drew you to like hip hop and rapping.
Yeah, well, first of all, I've always been listening to hip hop and rap. My aunt, which my mom was not happy about, my aunt, my mom's family grew up in Long Beach, and my aunt bought me when I was 10 years old, Doggy Style by Snoop Dogg.
Right.
And that was the first rap album I got. And I love that rap album. It was so funky. And kind of in lineage to that, the first concert I ever went to, my big brother took me. He took me to go see Parliament, George Clinton and Funkadelic,
Yeah.
which is like that's P Funk, and Snoop and all that's G Funk. And so I think that whole West Coast vibe, funky rap stuff, just like resonated with me. And I think, especially being like a young person of color, young Mexican kid, growing up in Southern California, a lot of the narratives that talked about my story and my experience, I wasn't seeing other places, And so hip hop and rap, in terms of that storytelling and world, is really where I felt like, like my energy was at, and my world and my experience was being seen. In terms of how I got into it as a creator, one, I was dancing. I was dancing and dancing and dancing. Both my parents danced, all my homies danced. We'd choreograph little songs to Pretty Ricky for middle school dances. We'd be like b-boying in the garage and like watching Rise and trying to crump, and going to little battles and whatever. But that was my first really like kind of connection to the music, like through my body. And a homegirl of mine, Jordan, shout out to Jordan, got me to start writing poetry in high school. And we write little poems to each other, and I'd write love letters to my my little like lovers and partners and stuff. And once I got into college, I had a group of friends that were encouraging me to like freestyle, and I'd never really done that before. And in terms of my creation, it was more just like the writing poetry, and a lot of my poetry was rhyming because that's kind of like what just made sense to me. But then when I was in college and we were just hanging out and rapping, I was like, oh yeah, this feels good. This is great. And then, the first time I got on stage with a band and was, just freestyling, I was like, damn, I always knew I'd like to be the center of attention, but now I actually have something to do while I'm here, the center of attention, and this feels good. And I would just stay up all night writing. I'd go to bed and a line would come to my head and I just couldn't put it to rest. I would have to get up, and then usually the line would lead to more lines. And I never had been moved by anything, like I've been moved by writing and hip hop and rap. Nothing would get me out of bed. Nothing wanted me to like practice and rehearse and write and brought me that much joy. You think of a young person coming into college, I'm like, writing is the last thing that I would want to do. But like I'd be up all night, just like sleepless nights, because I just like was so in it with like writing raps. I just like was amazing to be able to find this outlet to talk about myself, like even just as journaling, freestyling, free writing, and then the performance is what really just took it over the top. That's just where I want to be at all times, is on stage. I love being a recording artist and writing. But what really makes me want to work on those two things is the opportunity to perform. I write music so that I can go and perform it. I record it so that people can follow me, so they can come to my shows and see me perform. And being a performer is really, out of everything, that just like makes me wake up every day and commit to this.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. I mean, you mentioned being like the center of attention, and one of the things that particularly drew me to you is that while most rappers do enjoy being the center of attention. I mean, you kind of have to if you're gonna put yourself out there like that. But
Yeah.
when somebody hands you the mic, like you've got something to say,
Yeah.
And one of the things that really kind of drew me to you and like made me respect you after listening to like a lot of your music, that you're not just gonna go up and like spit some random bars. Like you speak with a purpose and you write with a purpose.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think that is very underrated in like, especially in today's rap.
Absolutely. Absolutely, Dom. Hella underrated. And I just I feel like I'm not gonna miss an opportunity to say something of value, because I see what's going on. Like I see what I experienced growing up. All I have to do is click on the Twitter feed, look out the window in the block and the neighborhood and see what's going on, and know that like I can't be wasting time, not saying things of value that are vulnerable, that are pushing the boundaries as well in terms of like what we're talking about. And not to say that you can't do that over slapping ass beats. Mm-hmm. Shout out Michael Sam. Like like you can still make totally accessible pop, banging tracks with killer catchy hooks and say something of value. Like I don't consider myself a political writer. I don't consider myself a conscious rapper. That shit is kind of trite to me, and it's just not a box that I want to put on myself. And I don't feel like my audience would put me in that box either, listening to my music. I just feel like there's like, you can say something real and also just make good, catchy, high energy, fun music. You don't have to compromise. I feel like so often as young artists, mentors and older heads are kind of telling, you got to compromise, you got to drop all that da shit, and you got to do this, or you got to add this type of instrumentals, and you got to catch on to the trends. I'm not interested in hopping on trends. I'm interested in being a trendsetter, and I know that being a trendsetter means that for a good part of your career, you're going to be slept on because you're different and you're unique. And for a lot of people, that in itself is like, oh, that's weird. I don't even want to give it a chance because it's different, right? And that's why we consume the same music over and over, because it's comforting, right? Because we know it. And cool, like that's all good, but that's just not me.
Yeah, damn, super authentic, really authentic. And I mean, your music a lot of the times often challenges the fragility of what we view as like traditional masculinity, and kind of reinterprets what it means to be a man through a very like modern lens. So if you could like talk a little bit about your goals as an artist in terms of identity and creating a more fluid space, not just with music, but all aspects of life.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm committed. I'm committed because, like I said, going back to the question we talked about earlier about, my character as Fig and the character as Figgy Baby are not so far apart, then what I know is going to be healthy for me as an individual beyond career, craft, art, fame, money is then just going to be reflected on my music, right? How I'm healing as an individual and how I'm healing from, trauma I had as a young man, and all the boxes I was put in ways that I felt like I had to act. As I continue to work on that completely separate from my music, it is just going to be in the music, right? Because what I tend to do as a writer is I look around and then I write it down. And so if that's what's going on in my life, then that's what's going on in the songs. And you know, I love hip hop so much. I love rap and men. And I just speak from the eye. Like I wanted role models so badly growing up. And like I said, I was lacking them in real life because I wasn't seeing them, you know. And so I looked to hip hop. I looked to rap. You know, those were my role models, right? The confidence, the conviction, the shameless self-love, right? Brag rap. I mean, what other genre is allowing you to just go and write 16 bars, metaphors and similes and these amazing play on words and prose to talk about how amazing you are? What? That's crazy, especially as young brown people, brown and black folks. I'm like, dang, of course this is gonna like resonate with me. Um, and so those were my role models were. And I followed them unquestionably for a long time, right? But then I realized that we all have room to grow. And as valuable as hip hop is to the world and to myself, that doesn't mean it's not without critique, and that doesn't mean it's not without potential of growth. And I know that I've also treated myself and other people in my life poorly because of what I thought a man was supposed to be. And a lot of that is because of what I grew up seeing in my own household, my homies, my big brother, with my music and at a point I was like, dang, this is real. People are hurt, and what have I let slide from my other homies? And what have my homies let slide from me? And that's just not good. And this made me feel good. I think beyond all this, the Me Too movement, right, and really fighting against rape culture. I also realized that sexism and kind of these like standards of what it means to be a man, it's even beyond just like, oh, I got a homegirl, I have a sister or my mom that I care about. Bro, it's you, it's me. That this shit affects us. Not allowing us to tap into our full range of our human experience and emotion is holding us back. That repression is what leads to violence. And a lot of that is self-violence, right? These toxic behaviors, these relationships that don't work out, these like shit ass homies you keep around, like these bad eating habits, this like inability to just love yourself and touch yourself, And I think for me, like I was realizing I was like, damn, this is damaging. That I feel like I've missed out on a lot of life and experience because of the boxes that I've continued to be like, yeah, I want to be in that box. Like that's what I want because that's what a real man is. And thus like, I'm gonna do that, And once I hit that wall, I was like, dang, I looked around, looked in the mirror, and I was like, shit needs to change for real. And talk about some of the work I'm doing outside of the music. Back in like 2017, I reached out to a couple other homies who I felt had similarly hit a wall in terms of, there's something off about this whole man shit. We got together in this very apartment and just started talking about it. And from there, we started an Instagram page, Bloom Homie on, it's all about reimagining masculinity and manhood. We just were in the LA Times. They wrote an article about us. And we just mentioned the LA Taco, which is another dope local publication here. And now some 4 years later, when the quarantine hit, I started holding the meetings. We were holding the meetings once a month. And I was opening up little by little, getting more and more homies in here. And then when the pandemic hit, I was like, bet we can go online. I can open up to the whole country. And I got people coming in from New York, Arkansas, Maine, Chicago, all over California, from the Bay to San Diego, Arizona, Connecticut, DC. I got a call from DC. And every week, Tuesday night, I actually got it tonight. Well, I don't know what night it's going to drop, but you feel me? On Tuesday nights. And now it's just this community of men and masculine folk who are just like trying to talk about it through anything from, from mental health to relationships, to exercise, to rape culture and sexism, to domestic abuse, to self-worth, desirability, body image. I mean, we getting down. And I feel like that's the work. And I feel so fulfilled by that. And especially during the pandemic with so much of what was giving me self-worth, this was allowing me to feel like I was contributing and also just taking that as an opportunity to do my own work for myself.
That's amazing. I love that. You're really practicing what you preach. I mean, you're really putting a whole movement behind exactly what you talk about in your songs. And I love that it just started with you and a couple friends who were also kind of frustrated that you couldn't express these thoughts and these feelings that you have, and
Right.
it's bloomed into something where like,
Hey,
hey, there's this
Bloom.
person who's 2,000 miles away who feels the same way. There's this person who might be in another state or in another country who feels the same way. I mean, that's super empowering.
Yeah, yeah. Hey, and for all the folks who are tuning in and checking out, the group is open. Hit me up on Figgy Baby or Bloom Homie if you want to roll through and be a part of the community. I want you part of my community. That's it.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome, man. Because I mean, and I don't want to direct the convo,
You all good? Go ahead.
it's all about you. But I mean, that's also like something that I'm super passionate about in terms of reimagining what it means to be like a modern man. Like, I feel like
Absolutely.
the traditional viewpoints of what a man is supposed to be are extremely outdated. And now you like it's always been like kind of frowned upon to be like emotionally available or any of these
Yeah.
things. Like that
Vulnerable.
is
Yeah.
essential, that shit is essential if you want to like maintain your own sanity, like
Yeah.
you got to be emotionally available, you got to be able to confront these issues. You don't always have to be like some big fucking like macho man who doesn't like
Yeah.
feel things, so I really
Facts. Facts. No, definitely. And I feel like all the homies who be like, that's not what rap is about, not what hip hop about, you're straight lying.
yeah
It's grown men writing poetry. What are you talking about? This is what taught me this. Stop fronting. Stop fronting and look up. Stop fronting and look up. Y'all listen to grown men and women, but in terms of like your role models as men in the rap, they're talking about the struggles in the hood, in relationships with their family, drug addiction, violence. Like they're getting deep and vulnerable and they're performing it. They're writing these things down and performing it. Come on now. Y'all love Kendrick, y'all love Pac, 50, Snoop, all the greats, and everyone in between, Guru, right? They're telling stories, and to even tell those stories are vulnerable. And so, I mean, stop fronting. This is always what it's been about, you know. We
yeah
just continuing to add on to it.
yeah I mean you bring up a very interesting point though, because it's no secret that hip hop and the rap genre as a whole has historically been associated with feelings of hypermasculinity and homophobia. But you pretty much just said that like at its core it's a result of men having to confront their emotions and their feelings about like society and the world around them.
And how they were being treated.
Yeah, and how they're being treated. And I mean, my question for you is, has sexuality or subject matter or any of the things that you get into in your raps and your songs ever posed any issue in marketing yourself as an independent artist in the genre that you work in?
Um, it's hard to tell where the no's come from. You know, people are pretty sly. Um, it's not like I say no because you say you queer and you wear nail polish. People are not that direct. But I think that you know, I think in terms of audience, um, especially when they don't get the opportunity to see me live. I truly believe this, and Jaded, who's my main DJ and producer, knows this. My best conversion rate from stranger to fan happens live because it's you just undeniable that like I know what I'm doing, that I'm a great performer, and that I make you feel cool when you're around me. And that's what I want to do. And when I'm live, undeniable. The conversion rates like that immediately, fans. Doesn't matter who you are. But I think when you just kind of engage me through online, you see a post come by with me in a dress or rocking nail polish or, talking about healing masculinity, then it's immediately like, nah, I don't want all this queer shit, right? And it's unfortunate because really it's those individuals' loss. In terms of larger opportunities, again, I can't place whether or not the no's are connected to identity or branding. Maybe I can assume, but also that doesn't help nobody for me to just make this up about folks who are saying no, because I get plenty of opportunities. I've toured internationally, performed at colleges all over the states and festivals, and so also like I don't want to focus as much on what I've been denied, but more what I've created for myself and what I've been allowed to hop on and hop into and build with. But with that being said, I absolutely know that there are folks, especially men, who pass by my page and don't give the sound a chance because of a painted nail. Like you know, and that's too bad that folks is that shallow and that yeah, but they lost, you know.
Yeah, exactly. It's just like you said, it's their loss. And I mean, at its core, like rap and hip hop is about like speaking your truth, you know, and
Facts, facts,
not
facts, facts,
about
facts.
you and being confident in your own
Yeah,
skin. And you've taken that and ran with it, you know, and you've really, I mean, I know that there are like other queer rappers out like Lil Nas X or Kevin Abstract, but throwing your name alongside that, you know, because
hey,
you have really taken who you are and ran with it, and you're not afraid. And those are the people who are the most dangerous, you know, the ones who are true to themselves and
you're
best friends, you know.
facts, dog. That's truth. We dangerous because we shameless. We're not apologizing for anything. And we here and we present, we writing stories. And those stories are going to talk about a lot of things because individuals are not defined by singular identities. You know, I have much more pride in my actions than I have in my identities. So come through, see what I do, see what I'm about, see what I write about. I write about everything, you know? And so don't put me in a box because you're missing out. And I ain't going to do the same for me or you.
That's a message right there. That's a big message.
You're write
Yeah.
it down.
I want to get into some of these Figgy Baby aesthetics though. So the watermelon earrings have
Oh,
become
yeah.
somewhat of a signature look.
Ah! I'm about to drop everything. Dropped everything just so I can get y'all the watermelon earrings. Right here.
Yeah, there they are. Signature look right there. I gotta know, is there a story behind them?
Woo. Nectar Azul. All right, so I'm gonna start. Nectar Azul is a vendor in Southeast LA where a huge portion of my community is part of. Shout out to Alivio Mike. That happens in a homie's mom's driveway into the garage. It's been going on for 8 years now. And it just started with a little open mic in a garage. And now, I mean, previous to the pandemic, it's this super produced, beautiful, incredible event with vendors, like 20 vendors down the garage into the street, a full stage and PA system. And it's packed. Hundreds of people come through at the last Friday of every month to Bell in Southeast LA to peep what's going on, what's the local talent. And the homie Eric, who's one of the Bloom homies and also runs that space, he's the one whose parents' driveway it's in, and who was also one of the original people who I asked to come through to the crib to talk about, you know, this reimagining manhood shit. He puts on this amazing event, and I met him there. A big homie of mine, Lady Bosco, Ariana, brought me through to an event. I hopped on the mic while I was there. And as I was there, I met this incredible vendor, Marta, Nectar Azul on Instagram, who sells these, you know, Mexican-themed jewelry. And I got some papayas also. I have some nopales, little cactuses. But the first purchase I ever bought was the watermelon earrings. And I just loved them. I just felt like they were the first time that I wore hang earrings that were like really, really loud, but also like completely aligned with like all of my identities and cultures, you know, being Mexican and queer and just a shameless, you know, free, infinite individual. And they were fly as shit. And I wrote this song that's all about leaning into the fear to gain power and to move through this world shamelessly, but still acknowledging that fear. And when we were thinking about the name for it, you know, there's a line I drop in it about the watermelon earrings. But we were like, yo, we gotta call it watermelon earrings. Like that's just the vibe. So the track cover art is me rocking the earrings like on a stoop over in Hollywood. And yeah, that's it. The watermelon earrings. The papayas are actually custom because I was like, hey, I want some papayas. I love papaya. So I got the papayas too. Actually, you know what? I ain't going front them. I don't know what the other one is, but what's good, little papaya?
Oh, that's nice.
I'm a little fruit salad over here. Don't play.
Now, are they heavy though? Because I know when I tried like the little dangly or earrings, they're a little heavy on like on the lobes at first.
Actually, to be honest, the papaya one is a little bit more because it's like wood.
Right.
But the watermelon earrings are pretty thin actually, so they flow. They
Yeah.
flow. They work. They work. That's why these are ideal. I wear these the most for sure. The watermelon earrings. That's the whole vibe.
And
Go peep the track.
when you get them, yeah, go peep the track. Go peep all of Blood from a Stone. It's insane project.
Yeah.
Yeah, one of I really like though that they're from. I guess you could consider it a small business, but
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Hella small business.
you can't just like have people going on Urban Outfitters biting your style. You know, like,
Absolutely not.
that's
Absolutely not.
part of the trendsetter energy right there.
Sheesh. I'm even rocking this little ring right now. That's also in a little vibe.
Oh,
And
okay.
that's yeah. And that's from the homegirl Clev, from the duo Mother Nature out from Chicago, who are killer. We got a track dropping in July together, a joint track. Mother Nature, this dope duo from Chicago that's like blowing up right now for real. So make sure to go check them out. And Fresh Ass Monk is the little side company, and they make all this homemade jewelry as well. And they gifted this to me when I met them on tour. We were both on tour in Germany in 2019. I met them at the airport in Ireland.
Oh,
And we performed at like the same venue, and then just like wild. It was a serendipitous story, but now 2 years later, they're my people, and I just saw them. They were out here, filmed the video for our track, and that's coming out early July.
oh, I can't wait to hear that one.
It's gonna be crazy. Shout out Mother Nature, love y'all.
Yeah, shout out to Mother Nature. So you do have one of, in my personal opinion, you got one of the sickest logos I've seen from an independent artist with the painted nails and the chain.
Hey.
Yeah. I gotta know how did that design come about?
Boop, right there. That's a photo.
Yup, that's you can get that on figgybaby.com, right?
Yeah, you can. Yeah, you can. Actually, I'm giving away those posters for free this Saturday at Vaxxed Up, which I realize will be in the past of this video, but it's all good. It's all good. Yo, I was out on the shoot. First, really like intentional Figgy Baby shoot. I was with a homie Ben Floss. That's my boy, one of my videographers and photographers. He's a dope filmmaker. Shot and cut by Floss is his tag. And then Erin Michelle Williams, who is my artistic director, does a lot of my styling and just generally kind of like visioning of my world. She actually conceptualized and directed Michael Sam. She's totally the dopest. And we were out on a shoot together, us three. And it was the first time they'd be working together, and we were kind of cruising through different spots around LA and different outfits. And you know, I had that a Figgy Baby blue nail polish, that kind of pastel, and had this old, you know, like 2-ring chain. And I don't know, I was just like, hey yo, catch this look real quick. And then he shot it. And I was like, oh, that's clean. That's kind of a vibe. And we made these little like, you know, negatives of it. And I was like, yo, I wonder if I can just get like an animated version of just like the chain and the hands. And if I put that on a shirt, then it'd be kind of like the same thing. It'd be like the actual photo, which is kind of, you see the shirt in the background, right? And I'm like, oh, it's such a nice photo. Like the hands kind of seemingly are masculine and veiny, but then there's like the bright blue color, but then over the kind of chain, which is very much in the traditional, you know, world of hip hop and rappers. And I felt like it covered a lot of ground just in one singular photo. And I was like, yeah, that's it. Sent it to the homie Hester. They made an animation version of it, put it on some stickers, put it on some shirts, made the negatives photos for the posters, and we got a brand, baby.
Yeah, and I mean the Figgy Baby blue. I don't know if you have this idea yet, but maybe in the future when you get a little nail polish collaboration going,
it's coming. It's coming.
Then
it's coming.
Okay.
We got you.
Stay patient on that. The announcement is coming soon, though.
Got you on a bottle. Don't worry. Got you on a bottle.
I appreciate that. I've been trying to get my nail game up, Figgy. Let me tell
you. Let's go.
Oh, that's too fresh, my man. Kind of just, you know, getting back into like your creative side.
Absolutely.
So, I mean, you mentioned at the beginning of the interview that it like throughout the pandemic, you know, it was kind of tough to stay in that creative zone at first. I mean, some people, they were inside, they were just locking in and working. Other people, I mean, it's tough. Everybody's different, right? So, I mean, my question for you is, how do you kind of keep yourself from becoming jaded? Or, I mean, how can you ensure that like create is still there?
Yeah, that's real. Hey, funny though, because my producer's named Jaded, so I was like, how do I come stop from becoming jaded? Shout out Jaded Eye. Shout out Jaded Eye. That's the boy right there, my guy. Um, but yo, first and foremost, I do not believe in writer's block.
Okay.
I believe that you won't always love what you're writing, but you can always put words down on a page.
Right.
And so with that mindset, I still try to write every day. And I think during the pandemic, it was hard and I hated the vast majority of what I wrote. But that doesn't mean that I wasn't writing, which I'm thankful for building that habit previously. And also realizing that like when I'm talking about writing every day, I'm not talking about for like 3 hours. I'm talking about 10 minutes timed on the phone, free write, no rules. You could write the same line over and over for 10 minutes and that counts as your 10-minute writing. It doesn't have to make sense. It don't got to rhyme. It don't be musical. It's just journaling, right? But because I'm a rapper, it's more rhythmic journaling because that's just the craft that I've kind of developed already. And that's just, I think that inspiration comes and goes. Being moved so heavily in every inch of your body is not consistent and constant. But what can be constant and consistent is craft, is habit, and is observation, right? And living, because the best writing is from folks who have lived. You just writing inside all day creating. It's like, what you writing about? Go out there, go get your heart broken, go travel, go have a wild sleepless night out dancing, right? Have something to come back home and put that on the page. You feel me? So that's important. And community, I think community has been so helpful in just like continuing to keep the flame, lit, right? Other creators in my circle, partners, people who are just like reminding me that I'm full even without, 10 million streams off the next release, that creation isn't always about the final product or how much money you make off of it, but is about the impact, the quality, right? Not the quantity always. And of course, as an artist, I want both. I go front. I want quality and quantity, but recognizing that the core root of it is that when I put projects out and, one person reaches out to me with like a heartfelt response to that track, then like I said, that's worth it because I'm never going to not be able to have something to write about. And I'm never going to be a dry creator. I put music out all the time. We can make stuff in a week and a half and put it out. The track that we just put out in May, Ain't Even On, we made that track in a week and a half because our original June or May release got pushed. And so we just kind of had to like handle. And that just made me realize in that moment that like, oh, dang, like when you've already put the time and effort in the practice and the craft, mind you, when the pressure is on and the inspiration is present, you're going to make gold, and the people around me just, hold me accountable to that. Remind me of who I am, remind me of the work I do, remind me that I'm a real one, and that just allows me to feel better about myself. And then when I am writing, I can get a little more glow on. Yeah, I read a lot also. I have not read a night in probably 3.5 years now.
Oh, wow.
I don't care how late I come. It could be 6 a.m. coming back from a wild ass night out after a gig, and I will read a page. But the last thing I will see before I hit the bed is a page of a book.
Okay.
And that just keeps making sure that you are also filled with other stories and other, genres and other creatives and perspectives. And that's just only going to inform your own and your ability to create.
Yeah, I love that. And that's actually awesome advice, like for upcoming artists, not just in music, but if you're really pursuing any career, just like put the time into your craft. And I mean, after a while, like you'll see the results, even if
right.
in that moment, it's easy to be like nothing's happening.
Right.
Like the results will come, like if you're putting the work and the time in. And really what you said made me think about this quote from, I think it was Phoebe Waller-Bridge, the lady who wrote Fleabag, where she says, you can always go back and edit a bad script, but you can't edit a blank page.
Facts. Big facts. I mean, what's Jordan say? Miss 100% of the shots you don't take. That same vibe.
Exactly. It's that
/
same
Michael Scott. So if you know, you know.
Exactly. It's that same thing of like you kind of just gotta write to like get the bad stuff out sometimes.
Absolutely.
If you have no inspiration, there might be something like in there that's like clouding you, And
You
then
have to get through to get through. That's just it. That's lines from the big homie Lady Bosco, who I mentioned earlier. The only way through is through. You ain't gonna jump over whatever holding you back. You got to go right through that. And I promise you, creation, writing, free writing, journaling, dancing, whatever is going to allow you to and come out the other side and be like, bet, bars only. Until you got some other shit you got to get through, you know?
yeah, exactly. I mean, that's just an amazing piece of advice from the baby boy, Figgy Baby.
Your baby boy.
Man, I think that's the best note to end on right there. But
I
before
love
we
it.
go, you got to let the people know what you got going on in your life. You mentioned some live shows. You mentioned some music.
That's right. That's right. Yo, y'all. So peep this. First and foremost, follow me everywhere at Figgy Baby. Go follow on Spotify, iTunes, Tidal, all that. Listen to my music. Convince yourself. It's not gonna be hard. I'm the one.
All you gotta do is play what's my favorite one? Play Polish. Play Polish. That's the one for me.
Play A. Okay, fact. Y'all hear that? Play Polish, Mr. Barron, Watermelon Earrings, Michael Sam.
G Unit Type of Love. That one too.
That's a vibe. You're right.
Watermelon Earrings. Yeah, I mean, really just
every hit. Everyone's a hit, y'all. Everyone's a hit. But go peep it and then follow me everywhere. And I'm very good at letting people know about things. We are releasing a song a month at the very least this year. And we've done that. We've followed through every single month. We got a song coming out at the end of June. The third week of June, that Thursday, which is going to be like the 24th, expect a release called, I haven't even released the name out to anyone except y'all right now, Under Cold Water. And I'm sorry, not sorry. This one is sad as fuck. This one's just as sad. It's a heartbreak song. That's it.
That's all right.
But we need range. We got range, y'all. We got range. So Under Cold Water dropping at the end of June. Ground Floor with Mother Nature dropping at the beginning of July. That one's going to be wild because we had the sad boy shit out the way and then back to Hot Boy Summer. Back to Hot Boy Summer.
Respect. You know? Okay.
Yeah, it's going to be, that's a banger. It's a banger. That's the one, the summer track. I got some features coming out with some dope ass people. Victoria Elise, Mikey V, Irene Diaz, Crystal Sarah, some incredible features, some dope artists, which you will absolutely know about. And of course, that joint track with Mother Nature, but I said that's coming in July. And then shows. So we're going to try something this post-pandemic. We're going to do a silent disco performance, right? And if this goes well, this experiment, and we're looking at a pandemic park tour. We're going to hit up parks all around California and everywhere else we can go. We're going to have all this silent disco equipment. We got Figgy shows. We have openers, beat sets, dancers coming through, and enjoying music in a whole new way. And otherwise, we have plenty of shows coming up in real life as well. Will be announced little by little, but make sure you follow closely and you will see about all that. I provide, y'all. I provide.
Well, you heard him right there, folks. Follow him everywhere at Figgy Baby to keep up with all the new music, all the live shows coming. He's flooding it all 2021.
Woo, coming your way.
The Figgy Baby Blue nail polish coming soon too.
Y'all know. Get that pre-order soon. Pre-order coming up real soon.
Awesome. Well, man, thank you so much for joining me on this little interview. Again, congratulations on being Artist Select.
Hey, thank you.
June. Follow Figgy Baby everywhere at Figgy Baby. Follow Traklife at This Is Traklife. And keep a lookout all this week and next week and over the course of the entire month of June for more features on our site and our Instagram page with Figgy Baby. Thanks so much, y'all, and have a good peace.
Peace.